Dear weary heart, it's late, isn't it? The kind of late where the world has gone quiet and the darkness feels like it has weight, where everyone else seems to be sleeping peacefully while you're awake with nothing but your thoughts and this ache in your chest that doesn't have a name but feels like absence, like emptiness, like you're the only person left in the world. I know that feeling. That specific loneliness that only comes at night when there's no distraction left to protect you from it. When you reach for your phone and scroll through messages from people who care about you, but somehow it doesn't touch the loneliness. When you're surrounded by four walls that feel too close and too far away at the same time. When you wonder if anyone is thinking about you right now. If anyone would notice if you just disappeared. I want you to know you're not as alone as you feel. I know that's something people say, hollow words meant to comfort but landing like dust. But I mean it differently. I mean that right now, in this exact moment, there are others awake too. Others feeling the same weight. Others wondering if they matter. If they're seen, if they'll ever truly be understood. And somewhere in the constellation of all this loneliness, your light and their light are shining in the same darkness. There was a summer when I was younger that I couldn't sleep. Night after night, I'd lie awake feeling like I was the only person alive. I'd go to the window and look out at the neighborhood, all the houses dark, all the windows like closed eyes. And I felt so isolated, so separate from the world of people who could sleep, who had peace, who weren't haunted by this feeling of fundamental aloneness. But then, one night, I noticed something. One other window, 3 houses down, glowing soft with light. And then another, across the street. Someone else was awake. Someone else was in their own dark room with their own heavy thoughts, their own reasons for not being able to sleep. I never met those people. I never knocked on their doors. But somehow, just knowing they were there, awake in the darkness like me, made me feel less alone. We were separate, yes, each of us in our own small room with our own private pain, but we were also together in a way. All of us insomniacs, all of us night dwellers, all of us carrying something too heavy to sleep through. You're one of those lights right now. You feel alone, but you're not unseen. Somewhere, someone else is awake. Someone else is feeling this. And your existence, your wakefulness, your refusal to disappear even in your loneliest moment, it matters. It creates a light in the darkness, even if you can't see who it's shining for. Loneliness is a strange thing. It's not really about being alone. I felt loneliest in crowded rooms, surrounded by people who know my name but don't know me. I felt loneliest sitting across from someone I love, unable to find the words to bridge the distance between us. I felt loneliest at parties, at family gatherings, at places where I should feel connected, but instead feel like I'm watching life happen behind glass. Because real loneliness isn't about proximity. It's about being unknown. It's the feeling that if you tried to explain what's really happening inside you, the fears, the strange thoughts, the things you can't quite name, no one would understand. Or worse, they'd try to fix it, to talk you out of it, to tell you it's not that bad, when all you really need is for someone to sit with you in it and say, I see you. This is real. You're not making it up. It's a human experience, one of the most human experiences there is. And the fact that you feel it so deeply doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're alive. It means you long for connection, for understanding, for someone to truly see you. And that longing, as painful as it is actually beautiful. It's proof that you haven't given up on the possibility of being known. I won't lie to you and say the loneliness will disappear if you just think the right thoughts or do the right things. I've tried every trick. I've gone to parties when I wanted to hide. I've reached out to friends when reaching out felt like pulling teeth. I've joined groups, started hobbies, put myself out there in every way people suggest. And sometimes it helps. Sometimes connection happens, and for a moment, the loneliness lifts. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you do everything right, and the loneliness still sits there, stubborn and heavy, like a cat that won't move from your lap. Sometimes you're surrounded by people who love you, and you still feel alone. Sometimes the loneliness isn't about circumstances at all. It's about something deeper, something existential. The simple fact that you are you and everyone else is everyone else. And there's a gap that can never be fully bridged. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we're not supposed to fix loneliness, to eliminate it completely from our lives. Maybe the goal isn't to never feel alone, but to learn how to hold that feeling with gentleness, to let it be there without letting it convince you that you're unlovable or forgotten or doomed to be isolated forever. There's a kind of mushroom that grows in forests, mostly underground. You see one mushroom pushing up through the soil, and you think it's alone, separate, just one small organism trying to survive. But beneath the surface, beneath what you can see, that mushroom is connected to a vast network, miles and miles of thread-like roots called mycelium, all connected, all sharing nutrients, all communicating in ways scientists are only beginning to understand. One mushroom looks alone, but it's part of something vast and invisible. I think people are like that too. You look at yourself and see isolation, one person alone in the night, disconnected from everyone else. But beneath the surface, beneath what you can see, you're connected to every person who's ever felt this way. To every lonely night someone else has survived. To every moment of longing for connection that's ever existed. To me, right now, as I write these words to you. To everyone who will read them and feel seen. You're part of a vast network of people who understand, even if you can't see them, even if you don't know their names. The loneliness feels singular, but it's actually collective. We're all out here in our separate rooms, feeling alone together. And there's something strangely comforting about that, isn't there? You're not the only one. You're not uniquely isolated. You're having a painful experience that connects you to millions of others across time and space. Your loneliness is, paradoxically, something you share with the world. Tonight, the silence probably feels especially loud. That's the thing about nighttime loneliness. It amplifies everything. The absence feels more absent. The quiet feels more quiet. The thoughts spiral more easily when there's nothing to interrupt them. You start replaying conversations, wondering if you said the wrong thing, if that's why people don't reach out more. You start cataloging everyone who hasn't checked on you, everyone who's busy with their own lives, while you're here, awake, needing someone. But here's what I want you to remember. People's absence in your loneliness isn't evidence that they don't care. Most people are so caught up in their own struggles, their own loneliness, their own late nights, that they don't realize you need them. They're not deliberately leaving you out or forgetting about you. They're just human, limited, dealing with their own stuff, unable to read minds or sense when someone needs them from across town. The people who love you aren't perfect. They won't always know when to reach out. They won't always say the right thing. They won't always be available when you need them most. But their imperfect love is still real. Their occasional presence is still meaningful. And your loneliness doesn't cancel out their care. It just means you're needing more than any one person can give. Maybe part of learning to live with loneliness is accepting that no person, no relationship, no amount of connection will ever completely fill that space inside you. Maybe there's a part of you that will always feel a little alone, a little misunderstood, a little separate from everyone else. And maybe that's not a problem to solve, but a reality to accept, to make peace with, to stop fighting against. So what do you do with this loneliness tonight? How do you survive these hours between now and morning when the darkness feels like it might swallow you whole? You do the small things. You drink water. You wrap yourself in a blanket. You put on music or a show or a video essay, something to fill the silence without demanding anything from you. You let yourself cry if you need to cry. You write down what you're feeling, even if no one will ever read it. You remind yourself that feelings are temporary, that this intensity won't last forever, that morning will come even if it feels impossibly far away. And you talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a friend who called you at 3 a.m. feeling alone. You'd be gentle, wouldn't you? You'd be patient. You wouldn't tell them to get over it or that they're being dramatic. You'd say, I hear you. This is hard. I'm here. You're not alone. Say those things to yourself. Mean them. There's a kind of tree called the bristlecone pine that grows in the mountains in harsh conditions where nothing else survives. Some of these trees are thousands of years old, the oldest living things on Earth. And they grow alone, not in forests surrounded by other trees, but isolated, one tree on a bare mountainside enduring wind and cold and drought. But they don't just survive, they endure in a way that's almost defiant. They twist and gnarl and grow in strange, beautiful shapes because of the hardship they face. Their loneliness and isolation don't destroy them, it creates character, creates strength, creates a kind of beauty that only comes from standing alone in harsh places. You are like that bristlecone pine, standing alone in a hard place, in conditions that feel impossible, and it's shaping you in ways you can't see yet. The loneliness is carving character into you. The nights you survive are adding rings to your tree, marking growth that doesn't look like growth, but is. You're becoming someone who knows how to stand alone, someone who knows the depths of their own company, someone who can endure. I don't say that to romanticize your pain or to suggest that loneliness is good. It's not. It hurts. I know it hurts. But I want you to know that you're not just passively suffering through this. You're growing. You're becoming. And one day, when you meet someone else standing alone in a harsh place, you'll know exactly how to be with them. You'll know the words that matter and the silences that heal. You'll be able to sit in their loneliness without trying to fix it, because you'll remember what it felt like to need that. I want to give you one more image to hold before I leave you tonight. Somewhere in the ocean, right now, there's a whale singing. Whales sing to communicate, to find each other across vast distances. But sometimes their songs travel for hundreds of miles and never reach another whale. Sometimes they're singing into emptiness, their calls unanswered. But they keep singing anyway. Not because they're certain someone will hear, but because singing is what they do. Because the act of sending out a call, even into silence, is better than staying silent. Because there's hope in the singing itself, even when there's no guarantee of a response. Your loneliness is your song right now. You're sending out calls through the friends you text, through the videos you watch, through the way you keep showing up to your life, even when it feels empty. You don't know who's hearing. You don't know what your song is creating in the world, but you're singing anyway. You're refusing to be silent. And that refusal, that continued reaching out despite the loneliness, is one of the bravest things a person can do. Keep singing, dear heart. Keep sending out your calls. The ocean is vast, and the distance is real, but you're not the only one singing into the dark. I hope you sleep tonight. I hope the loneliness loosens its grip just enough for you to rest. And if it doesn't, if you're awake until morning, I hope you can be gentle with yourself. I hope you can remember that loneliness is a feeling, not a fact. You feel alone, but you are not unloved. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. Right now, in this moment, someone is thinking about you. Maybe not in the way you need, maybe not with the intensity you crave, but you exist in someone's mind and heart. You matter to people, even if they're bad at showing it, even if the distance between you feels unbridgeable right now. And if you can't believe that, if it feels too impossible to hold on to, then believe this: you matter to me, to the person writing these words, to everyone who will read them and think of you, to the vast network of people who understand what it feels like to be alone at night and refuse to let others suffer it in silence. You're not alone in your aloneness, and that's not nothing. That's something to hold on to until morning comes. With all my care, someone who's been awake at night too.